Sri Lanka's capital, Colombo, is a city of contrasts, a place where the old and new coexist, where colonial buildings stand beside modern skyscrapers, and where the pulse of the streets is both chaotic and mesmerizing. It's not just a stopover, it's a destination in itself, a city that reveals its layers the more you explore. I started my journey in Pettah, Colombo's beating heart. The streets were alive with market vendors shouting out their best prices, tuk-tuks honking through the narrow alleys, and the scent of spices and fresh fruit thick in the humid air. But beyond the market's madness, Pettah is a testament to Sri Lanka's diversity. Within just a few streets, I found myself standing in front of Jami-ul Alfar Mosque, its striking red and white facade towering above the bustling street. Not far from it, a temple shimmered in the sunlight, its intricate Dravidian architecture covered in 1,000 colorful deities. A short walk led me to Catholic churches, where the scent of burning candles mixed with the distant call to prayer. In Colombo, every faith has its place. From Pettah, I made my way to Fort, once the center of British colonial rule. The grand fading facades of buildings like the Old Dutch Hospital and the Cargills and Millers building tell stories of another era. Walking through these streets felt like stepping into history, one where the echoes of traders, British officers, and ancient maritime routes still linger. But Colombo isn't just about the past. Rising above the skyline, the Lotus Tower stood as a symbol of the city's modern ambition. Next, I wandered through Cinnamon Gardens, an elegant neighborhood where leafy avenues replaced the congestion of downtown. The colonial mansions and embassies gave the area an almost European feel, a stark contrast to the markets of Pettah. Slightly out of the way, Independence Square, a peaceful space built to commemorate Sri Lanka's freedom from British rule. As I sat on the stone steps of the monument, watching joggers and families pass by, I could feel the quiet pride this place carried. Nearby, you can smell and hear the giant bats called Indian flying fox in the trees above. Nearby, the Gangaramaya temple provided yet another contrast, a fusion of Sri Lankan, Thai, Indian, and Chinese architecture. The temple was unlike any I had ever seen. Golden Buddhas filled every corner. Intricate wooden carvings told ancient stories. Monks were gently singing their ancient chants, and the scent of incense and water lilies wrapped around me as I walked through its halls. As the day came to an end, I made my way to Galle Face Green, Colombo's iconic oceanfront promenade. The salty breeze was a welcome relief from the city's heat. Families gathered for picnics, couples strolled by the waves. I grabbed a freshly made iso wade, a spicy prawn fritter, from a street vendor, and found a spot to enjoy the moment. Colombo is a city of movement, of stories woven together from different cultures, histories, and faiths. It's a place that demands your attention, surprises you at every turn, and leaves you wanting more. As the lights of the city flickered on, I knew this was just the beginning of my journey through Sri Lanka. With my backpack slung over my shoulder, I made my way to Colombo Fort railway station, ready to leave the city's chaos behind and head north to Anuradhapura. The station was a world of its own. Hawkers selling steaming cups of sweet tea, families sprawled across benches, and the rhythmic clang of trains pulling in and out. I boarded the third-class carriage, squeezing onto a wooden bench beside friendly locals, who smiled warmly as I took my seat. The train lurched forward, rattling past the city's edges and into the countryside. where palm trees replaced concrete and rice paddies shimmered in the afternoon sun. Vendors walked through the aisles, balancing trays of peanuts and crispy vadai, their voices blending with the laughter of children leaning out of the open windows. As the train wound its way through small villages, I watched farmers tending to their fields, monks strolling along temple paths, and wild peacocks darting into the undergrowth. Hours passed in a blur of landscapes and fleeting conversations, and just as the golden hues of sunset began to stretch across the sky, we pulled into Anuradhapura, a city frozen in time, waiting to be explored.